Click here to subscribe our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon to get regular updates of our videos. Hello friends, I am back with another video on sociology optional subject for UPSC CSE mains examination. In this video we are going to cover the development and dependency under the social change in modern society. So friend, please do this share as much as possible so that more and more people will get benefited. Comment and like the video and ask any doubt if you have. And now you can also follow us on MB page, that is facebook.com/Unorthodox Academy. And if you want to download the PDF of these videos, then you can download it from this link. It is also mentioned in the description below the video. So friend, as you know that in this video we are going to cover the development and dependency of paper 1 under slot 8. So let's get started. So basically the theory of dependency primarily developed in the reaction of neoliberalist perspective. So now we have to understand what is neoliberalist perspectives. So basically neoliberal believe that economic growth is important for the development of developing societies, and it is only possible when free and fair trade based on the principle of laissez-faire can be practiced. So basically they believed in the free movement of goods and services without any political and legal hindrances, and it should be ensured irrespective of state, policy and ideology. And this policy also believes that opening of economy is beneficiary for all because it gives complement to each other economic interests for the mutual growth. And it also believes in the sharing of the risk and the sharing of the profit. So basically they believe that the problem of basic needs like food, health and etc. are due to their closed economy, and hence to ensure high economic growth they have to tackle these basic problems of societies. And therefore under the influence of neoliberals, developing societies opened up their economy, but later it has been realized that this free economy is basically benefiting the developed societies rather than the developing societies, and hence after analyzing economic relation between the developed and developing societies, a counter perspective of neoliberalism came out, which is known as the theory of dependency. So basically in 1917 an Argentine economist, Raul Probes, presented a parallel theory against the liberal economy, that is the theory of dependency, and he believed that liberalization is detrimental to the interest of developing nations. So hence he identified two types of countries. The first one were the center countries, or basically they are the developed economies like US, Europe, or we can say that they are the exporter of the finished goods. And then we have another type of country, that is the periphery countries, or basically we can say the developing societies, which are basically the exporter of primary goods, or we can say the raw material. So hence he believed that in the form of free trade, periphery countries mainly export primary goods like agriculture products, minerals, etc., whereas the center exports the finished goods. So the finished goods generate more profit than primary goods, and hence the balance of trade is in the favor of the centers. So center can hold their product whereas the periphery cannot, and hence the valuable foreign currency goes to the center, which result in the proletarianization of the periphery. So hence he believed that the modern international technology can only benefit the center countries. Then another German economist, Reagan De Frank, further developed the theory of dependency of Raul Probes and found that neoliberalism is a new form of colonialism. He believed that developing or underdeveloped societies are not poor because of feudalism, as said by the liberalists, rather it is because their resources have been exploited during the colonialism, and hence poverty, illiteracy and problem of healthcare in the developing societies are because of their legacy of colonialism. So hence he believed that the modern liberalism is also a new form of economic colonialism, in which on the name of free and fair trade, or basically laissez-faire, the developed societies are exploiting the primary or the rich primary resources of the developing societies, and on the other hand they themselves are not exploiting their own resources. And hence he believed that unless or until the developing countries will not try on their own to develop technologies, industries and self-reliance, they will remain poor because they will be dependent on the colonial countries. Reagan De Frank is a Marxist who is against of the economic liberalism because he believes that it is in the favor of developed countries, and in the name of liberalism they are making developing countries dependent on them, which will keep them dependent and hence lifelong exploitation. So now we talk of Immanuel Watson, who is an American sociologist and world system analyst, and he envisages his theory on the basis of three thinkers. First one is Karl Marx, who believes that capitalist forces are strongly influencing the ideological forces. Brodel, who believes that political imperialism is responsible for the growth of economic imperialism. Ferdinand and the theory of African colonialism. So Woloson studies the comparative history of colonial societies from 16th century and believes that European society has not prospered because of their entrepreneurship or technological advancement, rather because of exploitation of their colonies. They accumulated wealth because of economic profit they have made out of their colonies and believe that only during this phase they have accumulated the capital. He also believes that global capitalism is a dynamic system which changes itself after some time, but the basic principle remains the same. So he believes that the modern neoliberalization is the new form of colonial capitalism. For example, if we consider the developing societies, then their labor are paid less than the developed societies because they cannot sustain in the market. Hence the profit of their labor always goes to the capitalists, because these capitalists were either the member of capitalist countries or their representatives. So they have paid least and this way accumulated the profit which led to the capitalism in the West. So Woloson has given the example of liberal developing societies. He called it peripheries and semi-peripheries, like China and Brazil, who developed more than peripheries because they were not open as like the peripheries. The rise of Brazil and China is an example that neoliberalism is not good for the peripheries. So the dependency theory claims that the centers are responsible for the slow development of the peripheries, and hence peripheries should close their economy so that they can develop their own technology to exploit their economy potential, and once they come on equal platform, then only the economically parallel relation with the center can be established. And China is a good example of this, which opened its economy only when it has developed its own infrastructure, and now it is a large exporter of finished goods than the primary ones. So now we see criticism. So basically this theory has been criticized on the following grounds. The first ground is that neoliberals believe that the theory of dependency is one-sided view, which forgets that the countries like India and other socialist countries tried their level best to survive on their own but collapsed because economic independency is a myth. The economy of USSR is also an example of it. And the second point related to criticism is the second world countries, that is socialists and communists, remain closed for a longer period but realize that economy depends on mutual give and take. Economic isolation is always disastrous. And the third criticism is that dependency theorists only see one-sided impact of neoliberal, but the ASEAN, that is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, societies are the example who just developed because of liberal policies. So basically the debate over the era of globalization is still continuing because the liberals believe that globalization is based upon the mutual interest of developed and developing societies, whereas the Marxist or leftist thinkers still believe that it is in the favor of rich societies. So the rich societies require market for their finished goods, and hence they are compelling the peripheries to open up their markets. They require destination where their capital can grow. But on the other hand, the liberal believe that globalization is based on mutual give and take. So the developing societies or the peripheries have the potential but do not have capital and technology, which is responsible for their slow economic growth. So globalization is providing a platform where centers and peripheries are complementing each other in their development. So thank you guys for listening and watching this video. Thank you.